All right, so I want to bring the next speaker in. Come on in, Candy. And I want Candy, I lost her bio, so you're going to have to say who you are briefly and then give your thought, okay? Just give a hand, Candy.
Hi, I'm Candy Swanson. I'm not used to being in front of a microphone. Can you hear me okay?
Right. Yes.
Or is that too much?
Perfect.
Good, thank you. I'm from Hawaii, so aloha.
Aloha.
I'm a surfer. And I'm a beekeeper. Beekeeper, taking care of the bees. Yeah, exactly. So, I have only a short time to talk to you, but I have some business cards here you can have, and also in the back at the table that I'm sitting. There's a lot more. You can call me, email me, make friends on Facebook with me. That'll be great. Okay, I'm going to do this really fast. I dated Jim Morrison when I was 18 in Santa Monica. Does anyone know who Jim Morrison is? About the Russians? Jim Morrison and the Doors? I was going to college at Santa Monica City College, and every day I'd go to where they were practicing in a house by the beach and sit on the floor and look up at these guys, the Doors and Jim Morrison, for months and months. And one night Jim invited me to dinner, so we walked down to a Greasy Spoon. Greasy Spoon is, the lady was big and black, the cook, and Jim flirted with her, made her feel really good. And we ate this very greasy food. And on the way back, we were stopped at a red light. And Jim says, one day he's going to be rich and famous. And I said, why would you want to do that? I'm much more into being behind the scenes, but I enjoy being at the beginning of things. It's like catching the first wave of a set. It's not as big as the other ones. They get bigger and bigger. So it's good to pick, choose what it is you want to have. Okay. Anyone know who Linda Ronstadt is? And
Governor Moonbeam's girlfriend.
yes, and I met him through her as well.
Okay.
Linda and I were best friends. She's a singer. She's Hispanic American. Back when I was 18, I didn't do drugs because none of my friends in this community in Santa Monica that were all doing LSD and marijuana, none of them would let me do drugs. They said, you are where we're trying to get to. Because I was from Hawaii, wore flowers in my hair, wrote poetry to the sunsets. And so anyway, I would show up the next morning after an all-night LSD trip of these folks from Tucson, Arizona. It was a house full with Linda Ronstadt in there, starting her career. And I'd pick all these hibiscus flowers. I'd show up with a big basket, and they would all be coming down, and they would just go, ah, all this beautiful color. And Linda had very bad trips, acid trips. She was always crying and blah, blah, blah. About a year later, when I was 19, I went to her house. I was moving to San Francisco to Haight-Ashbury, 1965, the very beginning. And Linda's sitting on the floor. There's stuff all over the place. You could tell it had been an all-night acid trip happening. Everyone else had gone to breakfast. She's sitting there holding a teddy bear and crying and rocking. So I sat across from her on the floor, cross-legged. I faced her this far apart, and she's telling me no one loved her and on. I just really listened, and I realized my life purpose. at that moment at 19. And I managed, when I moved to San Francisco, I don't know who knows Ira Chaleff, but that's the person I ran into in San Francisco on my second day there. Ira had done every drug he was ever going to do, so I missed the drug boat. Thank goodness. Thank you. And that's how I got into Scientology in New York City, where I saw Mary Marin and lots of wonderful people. Now, I don't know how much time I have left, but what would you like to hear? Stories to do with L. Ron Hubbard. I've had experiences with him on the ship. They were very positive experiences. Would you like to have stories that I have with Bill Robertson, that I worked with Bill Robertson, setting up both advanced organizations. I was the first celebrity auditor at Celebrity Center for Yvonne. The celebrities paid me directly $25 an hour, and she set up Celebrity Center around me. I'd just grab anybody to do an exam, so she had to set up the form of the org around me while I was there. I was there for 2.5 years, and then I finally got to go and do my own field practice, which I've been doing ever since. I'm a Class 8 auditor, expanded Dianetics training, Sea Org missionaire. I paid my $10,000 freeloader debt. Said F you, and sorry, and paid for my XDN course and took it as a public person, and then went out and did my field practice, 1973. I've also owned and operated 2 vegetarian cafes. And I'm a private pilot out of Burbank, California. I've done many, many things. I'm an old lady. But I know they want to hear about Bill Robertson. Yeah. If you look on my Facebook, Candy Swanson, on Facebook, you will see a wonderful photo I took of Captain Bill. It was at the Advanced Organization of Los Angeles that we set up. And he's sitting there playing guitar. And I went up into the office and caught a very wonderful photo of him. Because he was a really nice guy, like Mary said, I think it was Mary. Much ARC and a really good person to work for. Prior to that, we set up the AO in Scotland. I was the public officer. We had the spiral staircase Mary's talking about. We painted that thing. And Bill Robertson was the commanding officer there. And I was the only person allowed outside of the advanced org. And I met with the police, and I set up the student accommodations, places for students to rent when they came. We got the whole thing set up. And someone, wasn't Bill Robertson's fault at all, but someone below him assigned me a condition of liability. Does anyone know about ethics conditions? Everybody? So, who knows what I did? Am I ending here?
No, once you get on me.
Yes, well, that's what I'm doing right now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Thank you. So what happened is, I was assigned liability, put on a gray rag. I worked all day long, 7 days a week, and I didn't get any time at all to sleep or nap for 7 days. At night, I laid these carpet squares, the bluish-green carpet squares on the floor with a staple gun like this. And I did every staple, intention without reservation. I was madder than hell. I was like, you know. And I did 7 days. After about the second day, I went full OT. Because to be able, you either give in and go the effect, or you're willing to be the effect and you're a cause. And that's my tendency, is to, you know, disagree and take charge. And at the end of the 7 days, when I came up the conditions, everyone lets you back into the group. Captain Bill Robertson then put me on this mission to the East Coast. I did 15-stop lecture tour called the Flight of Freedom. On the East Coast, stopped at every org from Toronto all the way down. I was the first OT5 in the United States. And I stood on stage. I have no idea what I said, really, but I just shone. And we had 350 people follow us to England on the plane. They hadn't even taken comm courses, a lot of them. They just went, you know, for the light, I guess, the theta. And I got through with 11 people, and Scientology was banned in England. And we were down with our luggage. We got those black cabs. This is Heathrow, right, in England? We had the cabs waiting there. We got our luggage in, and I'm saying, where's everybody? I had my passport in my hand. Everyone wait, 11 people. Richard Kipperman was one of them. And I went back inside all the way in, and I'm looking, no one's coming. 350 people minus 12. And this little weasel man comes up to me and grabs the passport out of my hand. And I turn around and I ran like mad, and we got in the taxi cabs, and I went to the American Embassy on a Sunday. And yeah, I got my passport. On a Sunday. That's intention. Without reservation. You just ROT. You do what has to be done. And we got up to Scotland, and I was the spokesperson for the advanced organization. Captain Bill Robertson and his wife, all of us Americans had to leave because Scientology was banned in the UK. And so when you look on my Facebook, my avatar, the little picture, is a newspaper article taken of me saying, we're not running away, we're denying it, but we actually had to leave and go back, and we set up Advanced Organization of Los Angeles. So I'd like to throw in one experience with Ron Hubbard, if you don't mind, on the ship. Is that all right? Yes. One thing with Ron. Okay. I went to the ship, back to the ship, second time, as a returning Sea Org member in very high standing. I had done a power mission to New York City, Hubbard Standard Dianetic Course, HDSC, that was blocked. New York, Leonard Cohen was on this course, Amanda Ambrose. I have photos on my Facebook. It wasn't moving. I did what I heard from Billy Joe Tolan, that Hubbard did on the Class 8 course, intention without reservation. And I rolled up this big calendar, you know, the big thing for your desk. I rolled it up, and I went in there in this huge room with all these students, whoa, you know, and I took this thing, I said, here's from Ron, and I went, whack, boom, and I did it a few times. Did that really happen on the 8 course?
No.
Oh, Billy Joe told me that that's how Hubbard got people at present time.
Well, he got us to present time by coming around taking our pictures, and then we all stood at attention. He said, "No, I'm just the ship photographer." And he got us to present time by having us go overboard.
I know. So Mary's saying that Hubbard came around and took photos of the students pretending to be the photographer, not be Hubbard. That's pretty good. Well, Billy Tolan told me this amazing story, so I duplicated it. I went in there, and I was half my size now. I was very small, and I just did this big thing with a big noise, and the whole thing started moving. People started graduating. I went to the ship with a top power mission in Sea Org. Hubbard, I saw the routing form on my way routing in onto the ship. Hubbard wrote on the top of this whole thing for my mission, "Very well done, give it power, love, Ron." So I was very happy with that. And I'm going to skip 2 of the incidents, but I was on watch, and the ship was stuck, going around in circles. It was a big storm with big waves breaking, and they couldn't get from automatic into manual for the steering, so we were going around this huge circle, letting her catch up. And so the con of the watch, Tony Dunleavy, says to me, "Go get the Commodore. Get the Commodore here." And I run down to Ron's office. He's sitting behind his desk. I open the door, I say, "I don't know what's going on," all confusion, "but they need you on the bridge." So he gets up, he puts on the yellow hat and the yellow raincoat, and he gets around the table and his desk, puts his arm over my shoulder like this, and walks me up to the bridge. Suddenly I wasn't confused, I was in present time, and his intention was without any force or effort. It was whatever was needed for the occasion. That's how I observed him. And he put my attention on a machine, and then he blasted at the people on the bridge. Intention without reservation, tone 48C. He yelled down through this pipe that went down to the engine room, and the thing unstuck like that. So, who knows, but that's what he did. Boom, the ship, because we had like 30-foot waves we're breaking over, trying to break over the front bow, and we could have gone over sideways if it got us. So it was very important. I really appreciated that time with Ron. Thank you. Is that enough? Thank you very much.